Alright everybody, welcome back to the winning agenda. We've got a online Twilight Struggle League match here, number 3. Currently 2-0 in the season, which is nice. So here for match number 3 against Kamil Rotter from Poland. So, what have we got here? We've got USSR, nothing too exciting in terms of headlines. We've got Captured Nazi Scientists, we've got De Gaulle, which we don't mind. Fidel, we're not going to headline. NASA is effectively a... what am I doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would have been an interesting setup. 6 in Yugoslavia. Yeah, let them have a think. So, yeah, depending on how they set up, if it looks like we might want to counter their Middle East scoring by getting NASA, then we'll do that. Otherwise, CNS, we don't mind NASA getting defected, obviously. It's not the end of the world. Because if it gets defected, then we get to coup Iran. No 4-ups, which is pretty annoying. Truman, we want to get out of the way quickly. 3 1-ups, like this is probably, like not the worst, but close to the worst turn 1 USSR hand that you can possibly have. The only saving grace is that we can hope that our opponent has some bad red events because we haven't got any of the particularly powerful ones. Duck and cover is a good play for us early in terms of ops. 5-year plan, we can get rid of something, but it's not really particularly helpful. I mean, we might use it to get rid of Truman at the end of the turn, but likely we want to play Truman earlier. But we'll see. Depends. So we can headline De Gaulle and try and take France AR1. But I don't love that play because it leaves you open to the realign with DEFCON at 5. So the only way we can get around that is to take France with duck and cover. Actually, De Gaulle duck and cover is not a bad combo. Headline AR1. Do we want to do that? I think with this setup, there's a decent chance our opponent has Middle East scoring. But I do kind of like the De Gaulle into duck and cover. It's not really... It's not going to be Marshall Plan. Could be Middle East scoring, could be defectors. I think if De Gaulle gets defectors, it's worse for us. But De Gaulle take Europe is like a more aggressive AR1. NASA is a less aggressive AR1, but... less aggressive headline AR1 combo because it also gives them a coup target. So I'm willing to roll the dice here. Like, it's not... Yeah, so we would have effectively defected their Middle East scoring, but we get to trigger event and then place 1, 2, and then where do we want to spread? So we don't really care about Middle East. I think we'll go South Korea, put some pressure on them there. So like if they got a special relationship or something, that's a bit annoying for us. But otherwise, we can look to try and coup elsewhere on the next AR. So if they don't take South Korea, if they try and spread in North Asia, we can look to take South Korea. If they take South Korea and don't spread in North Asia, obviously we don't have the war, they might have it, and then they might feel more emboldened to go into South Korea. But I dare say the chances are that they've got a 4-up here, given that we had none. But we do obviously want to try and get some mill-ups. We want to try and get DEFCON down at some point. And also, obviously, the Iran coup is better the earlier in the turn that we do it. So, like, we might just 5-year plan because we actually don't really care about which of these cards gets discarded. If Truman gets discarded, big deal. And in some ways, it's better to have it played earlier, given that we're in France and we're going to want to try and overprotect it by the end of the turn, but we kind of want Truman out of the deck, so we can't get AR7 headline comboed or AR6 headline comboed by Truman, given that we effectively gave up 4 VPs with no presence to the Middle East. Okay, so they have gone into Pakistan. So we can coup Pakistan with the China card, but that obviously leaves us vulnerable to IP war. They've also gone to Malaysia. We can just take South Korea and then keep the threat open to coup Thailand, which I kind of prefer. I'd rather China card coup Thailand if they move in there than China card coup Pakistan now. So I'm pretty happy to just take South Korea here. And we lose the war, that's okay. So we might use, I mean, I'm just not really tempted to use NASA for the event here. I'd rather just put it back into the deck, even though it deprives us of access, I think. I mean, there's the opportunity for Middle East to be scored again on turn 3. But short of that, I'm feeling okay. And I think we can just shore up Iraq and Syria at some point in the next 2 turns. Unless, of course, they like 4-up coup Iraq here, which would be a bit annoying for us. So I think for the rest of the turn, we want to get one into France, just to overprotect it. We want to have a coup at some point. They take Korean War, they did have it in hand. Fail, annoying, like would have liked those Millops and VPs at this point, to put a bit of Millops pressure on them as well. To put a bit more VPs pressure on them. But as it is, we're just going to exit the early war behind, so that is that. So they're walking across India, declining to go into Thailand, walking across Middle East as well. So we can't put a whole lot of pressure on with this hand. What we can do is, which is unfortunate, as the Soviets. I mean, I know we spent 2 3-ups early on in France. I'm not really keen to take non-battleground countries without ops deficit, non-battleground countries in Europe, just to set up domination, because we're just so far behind on ops. So I think I want to go CNS, because we do want to play that at some point in the turn. They might go 1 into Egypt, although the fact they went 1 into Iraq tells me they're less likely to do that. So we need to get 1 into France so we can't get broken at the end of the turn. I may go 1 France, 1 Greece, just to keep our access in the Mediterranean countries after we get Truman doctrined. So that they either remove Greece or Yugoslavia. But either way, it's not really ideal. And Asia will become a problem for us eventually if we don't draw Decol next turn. Or an access card. Decol or Vietnam Revolts will do fine. But it would be good from a VPs. So this is an interesting start, because like just reflecting on Twilight Struggle theory a little bit, if as the USSR, sometimes you get into this pressure situation in the early war where you feel like you have to win in the early war. Whereas I like taking the countries that the US relies on to set up its late war victory. And I mean, I think if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I prioritize the more stable regions early in the game, and trying to secure an advantage in as many of Asia and Europe as I can. And the Middle East as well as the Soviets, less so as the US, and then look to, spend more time battling efficiently here, because it's really inefficient to battle for these other regions most of the time. So anyway, it's our AR, so we will play this Truman Doctrine, I think now. They just went to space. Let's place in Greece. I think we just don't want to lose access to this region, and we'll keep our 2-up here later, so they can remove us from Greece or Yugoslavia. They're just going to remove the one that we just put in Greece. That's fine. It's basically just spacing Truman, but it does make us less likely to lose France to anything other than a realign. Hey, how you doing, Michael? Welcome down. Bit of an unusual start to this one. So I think we'll send DEFCON to 3 so that it goes back up to 4, which makes it harder for them to go into Thailand still, while we've got the China card. And we have not overprotected France yet. So what are they doing here? Cooing around, interesting. Well, they've put DEFCON down. I'm a little bit less interested in cooing again now, because I do want DEFCON to go up again, and I think they want it to go down. So we'll go 1 here. Actually, I think we'll NASA this AR. And if they want to coup us again, they can coup us again. Or do we want to give them that option? I'd rather keep NASA to be a bit more reactive in case they try to go there. Although I just don't think they will. Yeah, we should play a friendly sometime, Michael. That'd be great. I'm going to overprotect France, and I'm going to get presence in the Middle East here, I think, because spreading doesn't really seem worth it. Maybe, I mean, South Korea, I don't think jamming in South Korea is all that good. Although presence in the Middle East is not relevant for longer, so it's kind of an interesting one. I think Greece or Turkey is probably the way to go, actually. But, yeah. I'm thinking South Korea, Greece, or Algeria, or Portugal are probably my targets here. I'm fairly sure our opponent's going to play a 4-up on this AR. And they might play into North Korea here, but I don't think we can go over protecting everything. Yeah, just the problem with our ops deficit is that we don't really... Maybe play into Afghanistan, threaten the China card flip. I think that's better because then if they do try and break us in Asia, we've at least got multiple ways that we can relevantly attack them with the China card if we do choose to play it. But yeah, if they put 2 into North Korea here, it is a bit annoying. But DEFCON, if they do that, then DEFCON's going to 4 for next turn. So that's not so bad because if we don't get the coup AR1, then we'll still likely get a coup. This kind of situation also makes, obviously, like brush war on Italy a lot better. It makes, blockade more of a threat. So holding France as the Soviets does have its upsides. It means that the USA player does need to respect Europe a bit. But obviously, if they headline Marshall next turn or something, then that's a bit annoying because it makes it a bit hard for us to actually score it for any domination in the early war, or ever really necessarily. On the other hand, it does make Comecon and Warsaw Pact a lot more dangerous for them as well in terms of the VP impact, because they don't tend to normally have much of a VP impact, where the US is sitting on 3 battleground countries. Yeah, so I think if they're taking this long, it's probably thinking about how to use a 4-up or a big operations card, but maybe not. Yep, alright, 4-up it is. 1 Pakistan, 2 Thailand, 3 Thailand. So we do want to try, we don't want to give them the opportunity to coup, so we don't want to NASA here, or to coup profitably, because we do want to be able to coup in Thailand next turn. So what can we do? Taking Afghanistan, not particularly impactful. Unfortunately, with a 1-up, we can't take one of the European non-battlegrounds. That's an argument for maybe putting the one in Greece instead of Afghanistan last AR. But we did force them to respond in Pakistan, which is helpful. I think perhaps we just want to beef up the Koreas, because I just really don't think putting one in a European on battleground is the way to go. We definitely don't want to go Algeria. We definitely don't want to event NASA. So let's just go Afghanistan. They've likely got another 4-up here. They're likely going to break us somewhere in Asia. But, with 3 1-ups and this much of an ops deficit, there's only so much that we could do. Would have been nice if the 5-year plan had discarded one of the 1-ups, given that we did have to end up playing all 3 of them. But that's okay. We could have conceivably tried to hold 5-year plan as well, but I wasn't confident that in the early war we were going to come across another bad scoring. It's possible that Asia becomes a bad scoring for us here, but it's also equally possible that we want to space it. So I think giving up on those 3 ups at that point was not really where we want to be with such a low ups hand. Yeah, so probably another 4 up from them here. And then we're looking at like 4, 8, 10, 13, 15, 18 ops for them compared to 3, 4, 5, 8, 11, 14 for us. So yeah, those extra 4 ops do make a big difference. Especially since 3 of our ops you can't really count because it was just 1 from De Gaulle really. So you could kind of say 11/12 for us versus 18 for them is a big difference for the Soviets, big deficit for the Soviets on Taiwan. All right, so they had, thankfully, a bad event. But it doesn't really, this is one of the downsides of going into France. If they had that specific card, it made our play a little bit worse. So we're not being dominated yet in Asia. We have D-Star, which is nice. We have Asia scoring, which we could dump in the headline phase. We also have US-Japan Pact, which means that we can potentially like take Japan and space the US-Japan Pact, but that's not amazing. DEFCON is up to 4, so we can coup Pakistan with the China card, AR1, or coup Thailand. So I think we're going to do that since we have Asia scoring. The question then is, what do we want to headline? We don't want to headline D-Style into a potential defectors here. Oh, we've got defectors. Well, that does change things. Maybe we do want to headline D-Style then. Let's just think. Cambridge 5 could give us a free influence in Europe, but that is not going to give us domination. We could headline Warsaw Pact formed just in case they headline Europe scoring. And since we have a pretty strong ops hand here, I don't mind that. Obviously, they could have independent reds, which means putting 2 into Yugoslavia off Warsaw Pact is not the best. So it has to be specifically Europe scoring that they've headlined here for Warsaw Pact to be good. Other options are headline defectors to not give away a VP, but I don't like that from a tempo perspective. I'd rather just play defectors in an action round or hold it, especially if we're queuing with the China card. We get a free play of CIA at the moment, so we have to think about that. Get rid of that pretty early, but we want to do it after we do Asia scoring because they're not going to give us Fidel, so that's okay. Yeah, I don't think D-Style. We definitely don't want to D-Style for that reason because we've got CIA, so we don't want to put any mid-war region influence in. So that's going later in the turn as well. Maybe hold defectors. Coup with nuclear test ban and or China card. Likely coup with China card here. So I think headline Warsaw Pact in case they headline Europe is fine. Okay, that's pretty frustrating as a start. So add 5 USSR influence in Eastern Europe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Czechoslovakia, I think. Play my action round. Let us think. So queuing Pakistan is good. Queuing Thailand, less good because we haven't got adjacency. I mean, if we don't fill Pakistan, then they're just going to take it anyway. So I think the 1 in 3 here to take Pakistan is probably worth it with the scoring card in hand. You know, the other option is to 3, 4, 5. The other option is to take Japan with the China card, but I think they likely then just take India. Oh, we can't take Japan with the China card because we're under purge. Yeah, I think we have to take this coup. We could coup Laos first, but just to get into that region. But I think I'm okay with just giving this a go. Whew, all right. So we rolled well. They could take Japan. They could take India. They could have the war on a 1 in 3. This is one of the advantages to obviously taking Afghanistan in this situation, is that we have a little bit of protection from the war, but they get the same 1 in 3 back at us. So we do need to consider that. So hopefully after I mean, they're unlikely to leave us with a domination position here this hour, but if we can at least pick up a couple of VPs with this Asia scoring, that will be a decent result for us coming out of the ops deficit that we've had. And they've still got to fix up Europe as well if they have the scoring card. And then that gives us a bit of time to pivot to D-Style and try and spread from there. But that might be asking too much for this turn. So they're taking India. So no VPs for us. So we can take one. And I think that's probably going to be as good as it gets. No, I am the commies, Vance. I mean, I could beat myself, I suppose, which is not beyond the realms of possibility. So I can coup Iran here is the other thing. The problem then is if they fill up Japan, then I'm kind of in big doo-doo in terms of Asia. So if they go fill up Japan and take Malaysia or something, then I'm kind of cost myself a lot of VPs. But I'm not convinced that they're going to coup anyway. But they might. So we take the VP in Asia. Let's see what they do. They've got, you know, a few other... thanks, Graham. Very sly. They've got a few other problems that they might want to try and fix here in Europe, but also coups to get Milops is good, but their only real coup target, well, their only coup target is Iraq at this point. So we're going to try and... I want to dump this CIA ASAP now that we've got our scoring card out of our hand. I want to try and use Nuclear Test Ban and D-Style and US-Japan Pact together towards the end of the turn. And Defectors is one of our hold cards. So we're going to have to hold 2 cards, though, is the thing. We'll hold Cambridge 5 over and see if we can headline it. Because it could actually be, if they redraw Asia scoring, knowing if they redraw Asia scoring next turn will actually probably be pretty important for us. And if they do redraw it, then it'll be obviously helpful. So eventing Marshall Plan is super interesting. All right, so I think we can spend one of our... Might hold US-Japan Pact over, actually, just rather than Cambridge 5, depending on how we go here. So we'll take these 2 Mediterranean countries, I think. Oh, we're under purge. Yeah, we'll take that Mediterranean country and that one. For that reason, yeah, it just makes our hands so much worse. I forgot we were purged. Let's go with this. We need to get one into Pakistan as well before the end of the turn. But, you know, that play, I don't really understand. Not eventing Marshall Plan actually tells me they don't have Europe scoring, because I think if you have Europe scoring there as the US play, you just event Marshall Plan, because although it doesn't equalize you, like it doesn't negate our domination, it just puts you in such a better position across the continent, whereas this doesn't really. And possibly that was a misplay prioritizing Turkey over Portugal because of the realign assistance that Portugal gives us, but that's okay. So we'll try and CIA created next action round, I think. Probably go 1 into Syria, though we do get also... before the end of the turn, we need to go 1 in Syria, 1 in Pakistan. All right, so they even up Europe scoring from a domination perspective, and we're not going to be able to fight them for that under Purge. So let's trigger CIA created. Give them a look at our hand. Could have cooed around first, but I'm not really super keen on spending this for op, giving them Asia domination and not potentially doing much in Iran because it's actually only a 3 up for us. So I think it is better to hold it over to next turn for those 2 reasons. So they get a mill up. We get CIA out of the deck, which is great. We get presence in Syria. Presence in the Middle East, rather, which is good. Because domination in the Middle East is a problem. I guess we could have cooed Lebanon, actually. That was probably an error. Should have cooed Lebanon and then resolved the... annoying. And then resolved the CIA created. But that's okay. We'll hopefully get another chance to coup Lebanon, although it doesn't really come around all that often after we get outside the early war. Okay. So we're holding defectors, we're holding US-Japan Pact. We want to D-style and then place something here, I think. And we're probably actually just going to have to play one into Pakistan after we D-style. So 1, 2... Oh, this is such a rough D-style, isn't it? Yeah, I think we can afford to go down there. At least that Warsaw Pact helps us with that a little bit. So we can go Angola. We've got sole access to Algeria, so we're not too fussed about that. We can go Mexico, Venezuela, Chile. I think that's the way to go. We're missing out on Southeast Asia, but I just don't think we can afford to spend one there. I mean, going one Indonesia there would actually maybe be better than one Mexico, because it at least lets us fight if we do redraw the scoring card. Ooh. If we do redraw the scoring card, at least gives us an opportunity there. So if we go Indonesia, it kind of forces them in Japan as well, a little bit, not heaps. But if we get Vietnam revolts as well, it certainly does. So 1, 2... Do we think we can walk around their next turn? Probably not. I think I prefer having both regions of South America than having one in Mexico. I think it's just more powerful on turn 2 and harder for them to... I mean, they can obviously still realign us here, which would be a pain, but harder for them to completely realign us out. And that was a good AR to pop D-style as well, given that they hadn't had the opportunity to go into Angola yet. Oh, come on. No. Oh, I know we rolled a 5, but that's so painful. So painful. Okay. So, do we just kind of give up on Asia scoring now and try and press the advantage in these mid-war regions? I think so. I think I'd rather hold Cambridge 5 and know what scoring cards they have going into next turn. I'm glad I didn't overprotect Pakistan last AR, by the way. So, let's go 1, 2, 3. Cool. And then big coup on Iran next turn. But yeah, wow, what a rough start. Turn 1, dreadful hand. Turn 2, purged. Yeesh. It's kind of like nightmare as the Soviet play. At least we got D-style, but not sure it's going to be enough here. It was a bit of a spicy play to go the De Gaulle duck and cover. Bit of a spicy play. But if we hadn't been purged this turn, it would have paid off. So Algeria is a priority of sorts next turn. I mean, they could go into Morocco here. I doubt they will, but they could. They can also double break us in France, I suppose, with another 4-up. They really, I mean, other than spacing decoy, like that's an excellent hand for the US player. It's like, everything's playable, everything's good. And they had a pretty good hand last turn as well, with no red NATO and independent reds. So, we're hoping for like blockade Vietnam revolts in their hand here. I think that's what's the only thing that's probably going to get us out of a pickle that we're in. All right. So I think that's probably what they had. So they're probably holding over blockade unless we draw next turn. But that's what I'm getting the vibe is going on here. Oof. Oh man, this is a brutal hand for us. I mean, we got decoy. Yeah, we got decoy. We know that it's not going to get defectors, all that. That's good. But in terms of ops, continuing this ops deficit, I just really wanted 1 4-up to be able to yammer jam it up in South America. Okay, so do we headline Cambridge 5 and try and do something cheeky? I kind of do want to headline Cambridge 5 because it gives us so much more information about where to go. Yeah, I effectively got purged again. But headlining Decol is also sweet. What does it get us really? I mean, it gets us like flip Pakistan, but then we don't get a coup on Iran is the problem. Sorry, it doesn't get us flip Pakistan. We can't go to Pakistan. So it doesn't get us Thailand. It gets us flip Laos, maybe take like some more position in Africa. But I think we're probably happy to do that later in the turn. Whereas the sequencing, like Cambridge 5 is actually knowing that information is super useful for us here. So we're unlikely to have a successful coup on Iran now as well, given that we've got this pseudo purge going on. We get a free Europe country. We could headline, so we know they've got Europe scoring. They've got 5 countries. We've got 5. So if we headline Romanian abdication, then we get domination. But is that better than knowing which, if any, scoring card they have in hand? I think not. I think headlining Romanian abdication is better. So if they... Yeah, because we're going to coup Middle East AR1 anyway. And I think we're just a bit cooked in Asia, even with Decol. So let's just headline this. Duck and cover, we don't get a coup. Okay. That's annoying. So they're going to go to Canada. We don't even have a single 3-up to be able to take a country. Ugh. This is real bad. Not even a 3-up in hand. Really deprives us of the ability to put any pressure on. We can get mill-ups at least with Arab-Israeli war if we need to. But yeah, if they've got either of these scoring cards, it's a bit of a hosing. We also can't flip really any countries in Southeast Asia. So I think we're not cooing, but we've got to do this. Let's go 1, 2, Laos, at least get rid of the domination. 3 Burma to give us a cheap country to take. And then 4... We could go for Thailand. I don't think going into Thailand is actually particularly helpful, though. I think our path to Thailand is actually brush war. It's just about whether we put 1 in Algeria or 1 in South Africa. I don't think South Africa is good. I do think another 1 in Angola this turn is good, though. 1 in Malaysia is good because it makes our brush war threat on Thailand stronger if we take Malaysia. And we can't actually take Malaysia with a 3-up. But I think we have to use this more defensively and just hold the line in Africa. I hope we can get to a good Africa scoring here. Yeah, this is like the main way that you can lose as the USSR, I think, is if you get this far behind in the early war. Like exiting the early war at least 8 VPs down, possibly more if they have, because they're ahead in 2 of these regions, is pretty bad. But you can claw it back. Like I have clawed back games with a similar type of situation to this as the USSR, where you have D-style and you have kind of the advantage in the mid-war regions. It would have been nice for us to get Europe scoring as well. Like there's a few things. We went heavy in on Europe. Europe hasn't been scored. It's only going to be scored once in the early war. We haven't got the ops to even be able to like threaten parity of countries once they put 2 in Canada here. So it's all a bit of a hosing, really. The one thing we can do, I suppose, is like Cambridge 5, but I mean that's and then put 1, you know, in a country that they're in, but that's much the same as breaking. Like we just break West Germany here, but that's not a great play. Like if we had a 3-up, I'm gonna go on about this for the rest of the term, but not having a 3-up is so painful here because we can't just go like break West Germany and take Burma, break this, you know, go to Brazil, which we otherwise would be able to do and would actually be super powerful for us here, knowing that they're under that scoring card pressure. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Because we're eventually just going to run out of tempo and they're going to come over if we just keep breaking, because they're going to be able to come back at us with spending 1 op to repair what we spent 2 ops doing and then make some other plays. So we just have to unfortunately give up on the Europe scoring domination, which is super unfortunate. And then we'll go Malaysia here, I think, we can get jammed in South Korea and North Korea. It's just so bad. We're in such a lot of trouble. we just can't create any threats for them that stop them just jamming us here with a China card. So I think we'll just, nah, that's just, it's telegraphing a weakness that I'm just not super keen on doing. Okay, so one Burma, one Malaysia, I think. Because as far as they're concerned, we could be holding, you know, a 3 or 4 op. Like, they don't know we haven't got any 3 ops in our hand. And I think if we put one in one of South Korea and North Korea, we just have to put one in the other on the same AR. So that might be the play next turn, is just put 2 ops in those 2. It's a very defensive play. So before the end of the turn, we want 2 in Algeria, we want 2 in Brazil, we want, I mean, with a 4 op, I would want at least 3. Like, I would want 3 in Chile, 3 in Venezuela, and 2 in the other 2, just so we can't get VOA'd out of either of the regions in South America. But we just don't have the ops to be able to achieve that and, you know, fight any kind of fight in the other regions. In terms of their cards in hand, we know they've got Blockade. We know that they've got Comic-Con. We know that they've got... I think that's about it from our deck, unfortunately. Yep. Yeah, so not a lot good coming down the pipe for us. I mean, Comic-Con is something. Them not headlining containment was also something good for us. So they're spending a lot of ops here dominating Asia. There's just nothing we can do about that. We're going to have to spend the Cambridge 5. Overprotecting ourselves here, I think. Because if they go for it, we're in a lot of trouble. And I think we just want to say, yeah, if you've got Asia scoring, you can go to 14 VPs. There's nothing we can do about it. We know they've got Europe scoring as well. So, you know, if they've got Asia scoring as well as Europe scoring, then so be it. So at least we get a VP back there. We can kind of ignore Asia now, which is nice. So we'll spend our last couple of ARs going into South America. Opponent event card will be Special Relationship, because we don't want to give them a free op in France, because that gives them Algeria access anyway. So we'll go... I know we're giving them VPs with defectors by doing that, but that's okay. 1 Brazil, 1 Argentina. And then we will have to decide in the last AR whether we want to play Arab-Israeli War. I think we probably won't, because the 2... It depends if they get mil-ops. I mean, if they have Indo-Pakistani War again, then that's still annoying that they're going to get 2 VPs that way. But I think at this point, getting, for example, control in South America is going to be worth more for us than the 2 guaranteed VPs from mil-ops. But we'll see where we end up. So Blockade discarding Comic-Con? No, Socialist Governments, okay. So we know they've got Comic-Con left, and I think they played Formosan. That's the only US card that I cannot remember seeing, or that we notably haven't seen. Okay. So 1 in South Africa. Yeah, let's leave ourselves the option for the last AR. We'll go 1 here, 1 here. We then leave ourselves the option of VOA proofing ourselves by going 1 Chile, 1 Venezuela, or we can go to Algeria, or we could even go to Botswana for Africa domination and the realign threat. Because, you know, one way back for us in the mid-war is to get to score control in these 2 regions. Like, obviously that would be massive, but not super likely to happen unless we have some very, very nice hands. All right, so they do take the mil-ops, and oh my god. And the VPs. All right, well, we have to take the mil-ops now, I think. Yeah, we have to try and... We can't go to 12 down, at least. All right, that's good. Yeah, we don't want to be dead to Asia scoring. That's just too dangerous, and there's too many mid-war cards that will enable them to get us into that position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, like, to be honest, there are lots of things that can get us back into this. A couple of good 4-ups, you know, some of the mid-war power cards, a brush war. But yeah, Central America looking a little bit annoying now. Alright, so grain sales no good, brush war, yes good, Cuban Missile Crisis not particularly helpful as the Soviets. Fidel helpful though, knowing that we're free from the interference of defectors is also nice. VOA here would be absolutely god-awful for us. But on the other hand, Fidel into... Yeah, giving them NATO is a bit annoying, but we also... it does mean we can't brush war Italy, but I don't think we're going to brush war Italy here at a 5+. I think we'll brush war elsewhere. So coup. I think we'd probably brush war Panama, possibly Mexico. We're probably going to coup Iran or Mexico. I think we coup Iran, brush war Panama, headline Fidel. But yeah, brush war headline is also good. You know, brush war Panama headline accomplishes somewhat similar things. And brush war headline also lets us respond if they try and score one of the other regions in the headline phase. We are going to event both for sure this turn. Yeah, I think I like brush war headline here. Okay, ask not. That is so annoying if they get South America scoring or Africa scoring. Well, there go 3 of our best mid-war cards. That is so brutal. Alright. Oh, God. Roll a 2 on the brush war as well. Alright, well, NATO, here we go. Attempt coup on Iran. There we go. Finally a decent roll. I mean, I know we got the Pakistan roll as well, but they got it back on us twice. Roll a 5 and a 6, and then we roll a 2 on the brush war. Man, oh man. Yeah, so this is... Soviets are more vulnerable to being purged in the early war, having an early war ops deficit, not rolling well on coups in the early war, and getting your control scoring card ask knotted on turn 4. Like, imagine the difference in this game if we drew on that scoring card instead. It's like 10 VPs at the moment. So we couldn't do much about being in really terrible VOA shape, but anyway, here we are. So let's go to Algeria, I think, next. We don't need to go Chile. We kind of still want to, just for VOA's sake. Like, we don't, but it's not as much of a priority. So I think to Algeria, so that we can try and walk across to Libya and Egypt. We can try and take Saudi Arabia as well and just start putting some OPEC pressure on to get some VPs that way. We definitely want to go Algeria. So this turn I'd like to take Algeria and Botswana. It might actually be Botswana first to threaten the domination and make them try and respond. Also wouldn't mind arms racing for the VPs because we do have a few decent ops cards here. An EU is fine to play. So depending on what they do, I might actually... I was going to say I might arms race next. I'll think about it. I'll see what they do. CMC's ops. Willy Brandt is probably the event, actually. Just to annoy them and get a VP, but we'll see. Might be a later in the turn play. We're eventing Willy Brandt and Fidel though, and we've got a space here. So that's like 3 empty action rounds, which is a bit annoying. If we event arms race as well, it means we're not impacting the board all that much this turn. So we do need to think about that. But 3 VPs for 3 ops is a lot. So Botswana, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya is a place we'd like to go. But that's going to be far too many plays for us this turn, I think, even acknowledging that we are playing ops with these 3 cards. Might mean that we don't event Willy Brandt just for the VP and the annoyance. It does, having Willy Brandt is kind of helpful though in terms of NATO being active. Like getting rid of NATO on West Germany is pretty close to irrelevant, but it's not irrelevant completely. We can still, you know, headline how I learned and then realign them out of West Germany, for example. Okay, so equalizing that is annoying. I don't think they're going to fight us for... So they might coup Botswana here though, is the problem, if we play to Botswana straight up. Okay, let's go... I think we want to get to Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, that sort of action. So let's play CMC. We'll go 1 Algeria. Do you think we want to go into Iraq as well? I think if we can get them, if we can spend our 3 ups here to be walking and creating threats, then that's, I think, where we want to be at. And this means we might not event the arms race if it looks like it's going to get us countries in the Middle East, which are worth points on the scoring and points on OPEC. That might turn out to be worth more than it's printed, more than its VPs rather. The ops might turn out to be worth more than the VPs. So Southeast Asia scoring is going to cost us 2. Yeah, in some ways, bringing back the victory points a little bit with arms race would make me feel a little bit more confident about the long game. But if we can manage to pick up Iraq and Libya this turn, that's pretty huge. It does put us in a good spot in the Middle East, and they're some of the more stable countries. And them being 3 in Saudi Arabia is pretty big in terms of Muslim revolution. So they've also got to be, like, unless they've got Muslim revolution in hand, I'm quite careful here playing around that too. Okay. That's annoying, but it is what it is. Do we want to take this arms race as a scoring card? I think we do, but we want to lock in Iraq first. So let's do that with Willy Brandt or with EU. What's better? I think probably with EU is better. Let's trigger EU. It's not really hurting us that much to have EU trigger here. The thing is, we're not going to use it to play in Tunisia, which is what it is, because we just don't want to give them mill-ups. Okay, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, and then we're threatening to take Israel if they're not careful, and they don't even have access to Israel. So that's, I think, decent. Oh, they do have access to Israel from Lebanon. These Middle East connections just sometimes do my head in, the way those lines crisscross, because Iraq is not adjacent to Israel, but Lebanon is, of course. Yep, okay, so Camp David event is obviously a good one for them to have, but then we'll just do this arms race, I think. Although, with them now having adjacency, it's kind of more tempting to threaten Libya. So 1, and then maybe Algeria. It does give them the coup. Yeah, I think we just have to hope that they've got some bad tempo plays here. We'll just take the VPs, like we're just leaking too many VPs. So we've got Fidel. We can headline Fidel next turn, that's not the end of the world. Willy Brandt Summit, Grand Sales needs to go to space this turn. We can't be holding that. So it would have been nice to get into Libya. But it doesn't look like we're quite going to get there this turn. So Botswana, I don't mind Botswana here towards the end of the turn. So it might be Grand Sales next, then use Summit for some miscellaneous thing, then Willy Brandt on our AR7 into Botswana to give us the domination and the rayline threat on South Africa. Oh man, their hands are just so, look at his hand, it's so good. Alright, well, no, we don't need to do that now. We can just coup with Summit. Attempt coup here. Yes, coup us back if you like. Because we just don't want to be in a realign range in Cuba straight away. Getting realign straight out of Cuba after fideling is not a good time. So hopefully they commit some ops to Cuba. Graham's off to get Sam cursed on Arena. Fair enough. Good luck, Graham. Alright, so Asia's still not looking good. Europe, we're unlikely to get back to a domination position until we've resolved a few more things in the mid-war. Losing South America, they're a huge pain. Well, they're pretty aggressive for them to go Cuba, Nicaragua there, really. Yes, they're focusing on scoring cards, but they are preserving this path for us in the long game to try and get back into it eventually. So there's a huge incentive for them to coup Nicaragua, which is annoying because it's the one play we kind of don't really want them to make. We are going to grain sales, and then, yeah, I think, depending on what they do, like if they coup Nicaragua, okay. Well, that is interesting. I think we can afford to fidel now. And then we'll see what they do. Because like now we've got a decent coup AR7 if we have to. Yes, holding grain sales without a China card is risky. But CIA is out of the deck. And I think Duck and Cover was played on turn 3. Yeah. So we're not in too bad shape. Oh, that's just so annoying. All right. Well, lucky we had Fidel. That's all I can say. Willy Brandt. Oh man, just the fact that our brush or on Panama failed as well. Like that's the difference between a VP from that plus well, like 4 VP swing in terms of the scoring card being played this turn. It's so brutal. Alright, so I think we just have to space here. Try and set up a bit of a better turn next turn. Yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. That is quite something. What a hand. What a hand for them. Just beautiful. Alright, so we've got Middle East scoring, we've got Africa scoring, so we can start getting a few points back, but we're not looking super good on the ops front. But we do have ABM treaty as well, so let's focus on the positives here. Negatives are Asia scoring is a problem. We have got ABM treaty though, so we can headline ABM treaty and coup Pakistan. Will that flip Asia domination? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It won't, but it will stop them dominating us, obviously, if it's successful. I think that's probably where we want to go. We could also coup Egypt. Not getting to Botswana last term was a giant pain, and we are going to have to be careful of Central America. The other option is to dump Middle East in the headline phase, then go for a coup, and then like ignore Asia. I think ABMing does give them a coup if we don't then follow up coup. But we can ABM coup headline and then missile envy. It's risky. It's not risky in terms of DEFCON, but it's risky in terms of we just get given a bad event and we've screwed our action around and they just get to coup one of these battlegrounds in Africa. So I'm not super keen on that. Giving them NORAD here, not super good either because we know that Quagmire, I think, was out in the Ask Not. So our best follow-up coup card is probably going to be Willy Brandt on Egypt if we take the double coup. But I do think we want to do that. So do we have better rail lines in Asia? Not really. I think that's okay. I think there's a decent chance we will get to score domination in the other regions doing it this way, but we probably end up having to play NORAD. Hey, that's a pretty ugly hand. Oh well, we'll give it a go. All right, they're setting DEFCON to something after we do this. Eesh. All right. That's just so annoying. We can't even pop off the Asia scoring card now because we didn't roll well enough. Yeah, so 4+ lets us Asia scoring freely here. It'd be interesting to see where they set DEFCON. Yeah, if they set it to 4 and try and coup us back, we can go like Willy Brandt, 1 into Pakistan, 1 into Zimbabwe, for example. And then they probably just coup in Africa. But they set it to 3. I think we probably still do that. Gosh, again, just such terrible ops. It's so brutal. So do we missile envy here? Is nuclear test ban out of the deck for the mid-war? No. So they might have test ban. We don't really want to missile envy into test ban here. Alright, so that I think probably means that missile envy is unplayable. So I think we go there and then we set up here. So we still have Nigeria adjacency. And then we don't have Africa domination though, if they coup is the problem, but we do get to pop off Asia and then hopefully swiftly reclaim Africa. But again, like our ops is a problem. Yeah, not having any playable 3-ups again in this hand, so brutal. So we could have, like, realistically, we could have held ABM for later in the hand, but I don't think we could give up a 6-point Asia scoring there without them at least giving us the China card back, which is a possibility here now. We'll see. Could have overprotected Pakistan instead, but oh boy. Yeah, I mean, like, is it worth it on turn 5 to go like overprotect, like to play NORAD and go overprotect Pakistan and 1 in Cameroon? I don't know. Just would have been nice to roll a 5 or a 6 with our coup. Tried to be as defensive as we can here, but a lot has gone wrong. Alright, so they do go the coup in Africa. So coup Nigeria rolled well, but at least we get a VP. We get to pop off this Asia scoring. Or, alternatively, we can overprotect Pakistan and go Algeria, which might be better. It means they coup Cameroon, then we play Panama Canal returned, which is bad for us as well. So, I mean, really the pipe dream of scoring, you know, even and 2 dominations here is pretty unlikely this turn. So it might be that we just give up on that. Although it doesn't really make our sequencing that much worse to do this, I don't think. Oh yeah, it does, because they can still break us in Pakistan. Yeah, let's just do this. Then go... We can still do the Algeria play next turn. Sorry, next AR. Or we can pop Middle East scoring off. I think that's probably what we'll do. If they don't even up Middle East here and they focus on Africa, we'll probably pop off Middle East scoring. Unless they coup Cameroon, because then we need to be careful of Zaire and them actually taking domination. If they coup Cameroon and then they manually flip Zaire, then they've actually got domination, even if we take Algeria. So Zaire is going to be important for us to hold on to here. Right, influence in Libya and Egypt. Okay, well, you know, you win some, you lose some. Let's go 1. Yeah, oh man, this is just such a joke. 1, 2. Oh, it's so gross. I mean, yeah, they just get to coup us in Cameroon here now, but at least we get a VP out of it. And then we've got to decide what on earth we want to do about the Middle East. And a cooing Cameroon. So we could have gone into another non-battleground in Africa there. Oh, that is very good for us. That is super good for us. All right, we're back on here. We're back on. That is the role that we needed. All right. So Middle East is going to shit, but at least we get to score Africa domination there. We can threaten this Nigeria with a well-timed play into Saharan states if we so desire. We can potentially take Israel back with no rad. But again, giving them no rad on turn 5 just sounds like a death sentence for us here. So I think we're probably going to have to just give up the 3 VPs in the Middle East. Which is unfortunate that we made ourselves fight 3 battles in 1 turn. But them's the breaks. Got to play with the cards you dealt. So, I mean, you can kind of see now, even if this goes out to 8 this turn, with the way the regions are balanced, we have some chance. If they don't flip Pakistan with the China card here, I will be feeling a lot better about my life. I think they have to play into Israel here, surely. It's the one unscored region and we're ahead. If we've got a 3-up card that we can play, which is pretty likely at this point in the mid-war, given how many blue cards have already been played. Yeah, if we've got any playable 3-up, then we just get to even up the only unscored region. So surely they have to go into Israel. So yeah, if they don't flip Pakistan with the China card, we can play Sadat into there. Realignment, okay. Ah yeah, of course, Cuba. All right, well, I think we're just gonna do this. Oh. I know we had one good roll for us this turn, but that is super frustrating. Okay. Well. Yeah, I mean, maybe the more disciplined play there is to play into Pakistan. Because now we can't pop off Middle East scoring and play into Pakistan this turn unless we give them Panama Canal returned or no rad. And I would rather space no rad and hold Panama for another turn until we have an ops situation where we can actually repair it. Shay, alright. 3 in Cuba, that'll do it. Haiti, and that is it. Sad. Okay. Well, we got hosed. So do we take NORAD? What are our danger countries? South Korea, Iraq. Is that worth 3 VPs for them to have NORAD for the rest of the game? No, I don't think so. Let's go there. The rest of the game, well, till at least turn 7. I know you can play around NORAD, like there are options, but CMC is already out of the way, and I guess Hunter is still available. Space as well. Very nice. Those 2 VPs certainly helped. That makes me feel a lot better about not taking Israel. All right. So can we bring this back, everybody? Yeah, so trying to cut into Pakistan here, super annoying. Our plays are like, you know, liberation theology and stuff. It's not ideal. Oh yeah, NASA's interesting. Okay. Not too unhappy to see that. Junta. All right, so look, I mean, we've had all 3 of the mid-war power cards, so we can't complain too much about that. We do have Cultural Revolution. We do have this. We'll bury you as a 4-up. We've got a couple of bad cards, a couple of just midline playables, which for most we want to play earlier in the turn. We're almost certainly headlining Junta, which is sweet. So we can go, I mean, Junta here, primo for us. To Mexico, coup Panama. Or if they VOA us, which is, you know, becoming increasingly possible, then we get to replace in South America. For that reason, I wouldn't mind getting one into Venezuela or Brazil here. Okay, puppets, interesting. Not too bad for us. But they do get entry into South America finally. If they choose to take it. They'll probably put one in Guatemala though, I imagine. No, fighting for Africa, okay. Well, this I can deal with. So we can go to Mexico, coup Panama, place in Mexico, place elsewhere. So coup Panama. Nice, very nice. All right. So 1, 2. We could go 3, 4 being Pakistan, Venezuela, or we could go 3, 4 being Egypt. So Pakistan, Venezuela is, so they can't flip with the China card and they can't VOA us out of here. I think that's important enough that I'm willing to give up Egypt. Because we do still have Muslim Revolution in the deck. I mean, they could have it in hand this turn. But if we draw Muslim Revolution next turn, headline it with 2 in Egypt, that's pretty massive. So the incentive for them to go into Egypt is much lower if they don't have Muslim Rev here. Manual flip on Zaire is annoying. But we do have the coup Zimbabwe with lone gunmen and try and get favourable realigns option as well. Or even coup Zimbabwe with Latin American death squads. Because we want to maximise our chances of actually getting influence in there. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, do they go Egypt? Do they go influence? Okay. Yeah, so flipping Zaire and one in Guatemala. Very fair play, very fair play. So we're actually going to go coup here with death squads. All right, that sucks. If we rolled like a 5 or a 6 there, that's super good for us. But that is pretty annoying as is. Because now they've got an okay reline on Angola Zaire, I suppose, but we can just walk back into Angola unless they do both in the one turn. So I think we might go, we could go Formosan, Kitchen Debates coup, okay. All right. So now we can't coup Zimbabwe, try the realign, but what we can do is go take Israel, which I kind of don't mind. We are getting a little bit more behind in Africa, but we do, until they go into Botswana, we're okay. So I think we take Israel, we wait for them to go into Botswana. We want to play Formosan next AR, so we should actually have couped with Formosan rather than Latin American Death Squads that first time. That was a minor error this turn, because if I play the China card here now, this AR, it's going to be annoying, but I don't think they will. I don't think they will. So yeah, and they got to space OPEC as well. Hopefully we redraw that then next turn. Hopefully they redraw Lone Gunman. Okay, 4-up, we didn't want to see that. Okay, well, yeah, well, looks like Formosan is going for round 2 on this coup. That's better. So that really solidifies us in Mexico quite a lot. They can obviously still coup us out, but it costs them a lot more ops points to do it. And they have got Ortega as a DEFCON suicide card as well. So moving up in the space race track by getting rid of some of these cards would be okay. But we do want to be careful. The problem with being the Soviets when you're between Man in Earth orbit and Eagle Bear has landed is if we draw VOA next turn or grain sales, it's pretty bad. And we are going to have to hold one of these. So I think we'll probably get rid of rear guards. Although rear guards isn't the worst, since they have strongish positions in both Southeast Asia and Africa. Pardon me. And we don't have any particularly vulnerable countries there that are worth attacking. All right, what are we getting? Brush war. Okay. DEFCON up to 4. Interesting. I think we'll coup Zaire then with Lone Gunman. Attempt coup on Zaire. Alright, that's a success. So what do they brush war here? Like Pakistan's not a great target. I guess Egypt's okay on a 4+, and Algeria's okay on a 4+. Oh man, the hand. Look at these ops. 3-4 ops. Whew, alright. Well, they flower powered right before playing Brush War. That I don't mind. We'll just go to space with rear guards, and then I think blank AR with John Paul. The other thing we can do, yeah, we just so annoying. Like a 2-up here would be so good. A playable 2-up. 2 ARs left, so we can't give them rear guards because that defeats the purpose of one of them. Can we give them John Paul? Not really. It's not worth it for Zaire. So yeah, I think we go space rear guards. And then fairly, they're not too bad for us. It means we can space a 2-up next turn. And then I think we play Panama Canal and repair Panama. Although that also sucks now with Brazil. Maybe we repair Brazil instead. Yeah, very unfortunate. Ooh, look at that hand. So they got Brush War, 3 other cards. And the China card. So it could be Asuri, it could be Nixon. They've certainly got a lot going on. Alright, Nixon it is. Overprotecting Zaire. We will play Panama and place influence in Brazil. An unfortunate turn of events for us, but it is what it is. So do they brush for us in South America? Yeah, I think if we, like, either of the last 2 turns, if we had a few more ops, like if 1 or 2 of those 4 ops came to us, I know we did have the 1 4 op this turn, but it would have been nice just to be able to sandbag a little bit more. All right, Space Race Last AR is something we don't mind seeing. We don't get to see their headline. Okay. All right, here we go. There's those 4 ops. So we got VOA. We redrew Lone Gunman, which is such a pain. We did get ABM Treaty. All right, so they've got... we don't know. We wanted to redraw OPEC and stuff, so we actually don't really know too much else of what's in their hand other than a Suri. Pardon me. Yeah, I think that's the only one of the power cards and most of the relevant access cards, because we just saw Liberation Theology last AR. So do we purge here? I think we do. I think we purge... hope that they space, like hold off spacing until towards the end of the turn. Probably holding this. Probably cooing straight up with where we'll bury you. Yeah, alright. Yeah, so they did have a Suri. Where are they going to go? Hopefully that'll neuter their China card plans a little bit. Okay. Kind of think I'm okay giving them a coup at DEFCON 3 since we can coup back with ABM Treaty. So I'm just going to repair that. 1, 2, 3. We don't have a 3 up, so we kind of have to play this 4 up, unfortunately. 1, 2, 3. I think overprotect South Korea. Nah, we need to do better than that. We want to overprotect South Korea and Pakistan before the end of the turn. And yeah, maybe we do need to do one now because we're probably going to need to use the rest of our ops to do other things. So let's overprotect Pakistan now. Because South Korea is a little less urgent now that Osuri is out of the deck. It's a little worse to jam into. Alright, China card coup at DEFCON 3. Gets rid of Formosan. Gives them a small success, but then we get to coup with ABM. So hopefully that means they've got the South America scoring card here. That would be massive. If we get that off them under Purge, if we get either that out of them or Central America scoring, like any favorable scoring here, I think is a really big boon for us this turn. It's going to be hard for us to contest Africa, though not impossible. Like we can obviously just go cooing some of the smaller countries. All right, please fail, please fail, please fail. Oh my god, every time. All right, so we're gonna go Colombia, Uruguay, but we're running out of playable cards. So Colombia, Uruguay, they're gonna coup us in Colombia. Oh, I can't believe that succeeded. It's so frustrating. It's just worth so many VPs if they have the scoring card here. It's just 5 VPs straight up. So do they, if they have it, like do they pop it here or do they keep going? Okay, they keep going. Interesting. Okay, in Colombia. Very good. So we can... I think ignore Colombia for an AR and go independent reds into Uruguay and Botswana. Botswana's not going to do heaps for us this turn. Because if we coup with a 1-up and we roll a 1, it's just so bad for us here. Like, we're down to 2 VPs out of this. So maybe we spend the gunman. I mean, we might as well just play it at this point. Yeah, maybe we just play the gunman to see if they have the scoring card. Okay, they don't have the scoring card. They've got a Muslim revolution they're going to have to space. They've got a missile envy that we can give them something garbage. They've got a liberation theology and cultural revolution they get to hold. Or play cultural revolution. Now they play the China card and South African unrest. Okay, so the hand's not ideal. They've really only got our man in Tehran influence to play. No scoring cards. So given that they don't have the scoring card, I think we just coup here. Try and force them to coup back inefficiently. I mean, it's not that inefficient. Alright, missile envy coup. It's another 1-up coup. Alright, they rolled better this time. Annoying. We'll go space Voice of America. No, we won't. We'll wait for them to space because we want one small step. Oh, do we? Because then we can't space Voice of America. But I think we want the VPs. All right. I mean, we'll trigger this. Let them choose. All right, we'll go 1 Uruguay. 1. Botswana, I think. Yes, this is interesting. I want to see how they play out the rest of this hand. So let's refresh ourselves on what they've got. So they've played the Missile Envy, we played Independent Reds. So they've got our man in Tehran as a 1-up effectively, and then they've got South African Unrest, Liberation Theology. Oh, we shouldn't have played Botswana. They've got South African Unrest they're going to play. So they're going to space Muslim Revolution. Succeed, come on. Oh, man. All right. Space this. We fail. All right, so we'll try and hold one small step then for next turn. See if we can get them with that and just use their bad events here. So we get 1 VP from the China card from Cultural Revolution. They get to use a 2-up. And then they're going to have to give us either South African Unrest or Liberation Theology. Oh man, if we lose South America scoring again, if they get so lucky on JFK and this, I'm going to lose it. Oh, OPEC, no, Decal, no, oh my god. Alright, at least not South America scoring, but oof, OPEC is a huge loss. Okay. Trigger JP and play in here. I think we just have to hold this one small step. We don't have to, but I think we really want to. Try and get back some VPs that way. We do really want to coup in Middle East or... Oh, did we just lose Muslim Revolution as well? Oh, that's so annoying. It's turn 7. We really, really wanted to see that. That's so frustrating. That's such a powerful card for us here. Anyway. Oof. So South African Unrest. And influence adjacent. 1, 2. In Botswana. Yeah, this is we absolutely blundered by playing into Botswana here. Should have played anywhere else. Yeah, just take the extra 1 in Angola. Influence in South Africa. Okay. All right. So the Reformer doesn't look amazing. Aldrich Ames, Latin American debt crisis is not amazing. I think we just have to Aldrich Ames them here. potentially give them no rad. All right, I'm just going to do that. Yeah, so we're not going to coup Venezuela. We're going to coup Zaire instead. Then we're going to try and get off our priorities this turn are realign South Africa, maybe coup Colombia and realign Venezuela, but you know, we can't get too greedy. They are vulnerable to IP war as well. I don't know if IP war, it certainly wasn't played last turn. I think it was played in the mid-war, so I don't think they have it. Anyway. Africa scoring. Okay, that's going to be pretty painful. Let's get rid of a tear down this wall, I think, or Nixon. I think tear down this wall is better for them because it's more interesting. They didn't headline it. Annoying that we're getting Africa scoringed. Yeah. Don't want to lose France, so that's good. Africa scoring, frustrating. At least they don't have war games. All right, so now we do coup in Venezuela, I think. But it's going to be pretty hard to do anything there. They also have Middle East scoring, so we could coup Egypt. Yeah, I think I'm okay queuing Egypt. Let's do that. Attempt coup in Egypt. Good. Good roll. All right. So that at least gets us a little bit of something back from that Africa scoring. So we've got Liberation Theology, Cultural Revolution, Summit, South America scoring, Middle East scoring, Nixon plays the China card, and Iran-Contra scandal. So not a great hand for them for turn 8. So if they don't pop off South America scoring here, we just get to coup Colombia. And then try and realign them that way. They're going cooing in Uruguay. Wow. That sucks. Okay, I guess we'll play into Paraguay. Yeah. Like, I don't think they have the ops to just be able to like jam us in Brazil or anything here. I guess they get their mill ops that way. They've got Iran-Contra scandal, Liberation Theology, Nixon plays the China card, and Summit, which is effectively useless. And then 2 scoring cards. So I think they just have to pull the trigger on South America scoring here. Or I'm about to start jamming them in Libya, I think. Okay, they're trying realignments in Brazil. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Why did I not see that coming? What a moron. That's just so dumb. Do they have any more playable ops though here? Oh my god. Alright. So that was a blunder, but also that's just brutal. Latin American debt crisis doesn't do anything. The reformer doesn't do anything. So, oh man. Got too obsessed with their hand. So, Iran-Contra scandal is going to let them place into Brazil. But I still think we want to break them in Uruguay here, because then we're still dominating and we force them to play around Contra scandal and we can still score domination. Yep, so let's go place influence here. It's not the end of the world, but that Mexico roll, man. Whew. All right. That could have been somewhat decisive. So they get to go around Contra scandal. We get to respond by breaking them in Brazil. But we are running slightly short on playable ops at that point, although I'm probably okay with giving them no rad this turn to secure a domination. So I think let's go the reformer. So they could play liberation theology here. But other than that, they've just got Summit. So we're still alive. We're still alive for this domination. They do play liberation theology. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So they're pretty convinced we don't have Central America scoring. Playing into Brazil. Okay. Yep. They're not going to space this turn, so let's go. Yeah, let's go this. Oh no, we don't want to let them fix with Summit. So I think if we're going to play NORAD, we want to do it now. Because now they get to play Summit, and we still get to take Brazil. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting because assuming that we do get this domination, let's wait till it's actually in the bag. I can't see how they fix it, but I think we're taking Mexico, taking Brazil here. All right. So we go one small step, take Mexico, and then we go AR7, take Brazil, and then one influence in Cuba somewhere else. The other thing we can do, so we can't really like have a pseudo AR7 here. Like if they played Summit, we could have. Oh, they do play Summit. Okay, interesting. Summit and Cuba to fix that. So we kind of get to pseudo AR7 them here because we know they've got a scoring card AR7. So we could do something like break India. Let's just trigger this, see where they go. Oh, NATO's in effect. Oh, that's so bad. I forgot about NATO. Oh, I should absolutely not have played Special Relationship there. I should have spaced it. Wow, that was not good. So, all right, 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's okay, but it did mean we didn't get to do a good play. But it did secure us Brazil, so perhaps that is actually worth it in the long run. Don't know if it's worth 2 VPs at this stage. Alright, so they have to give us Middle East scoring. It gets us to 2. Alright, Iranian hostage crisis sadly not doing anything for us. Star Wars is free for now. Glasnost is an okay headline, but this is why we want to play the Reformer, but we didn't. Willy Brandt, Socialist Governments, both decent headlines, but I think it's going to be Glasnost. Nah, actually, we want Glasnost. I think it's Socialist Governments. Yeah. Okay. Should have done Glasnost. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, that's not as good. 1, 2, 3. That'll do. Or is it better to? Yeah, that's better. Okay. Junta's pretty annoying. In Central, especially if they roll well on Panama, that's going to be the most annoying because that pretty much locks us out of getting good VPs out of Central this game. So we've currently got decent ray lines on South Africa, which we need to keep in mind. Okay, that is good. So we can go 1, 2, 3. If they fill Uruguay, I think we just reline Uruguay, so that's not such a problem. I think we go 3-4 West Germany actually. And we've got an okay ops hand here, so we can just fight them for Europe domination, I think, and try and keep them focused there this turn. If we can do that, I think we give ourselves a decent shot. So if they go Uruguay, we can go realign South Africa, realign Uruguay. We do Uruguay first. I think we're spacing rear guards. We want to play Star Wars next AR though, because that becomes a real problem. If we don't... Okay, so even that up. So we want to go Star Wars into one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we want to start getting it on there, I think. Yeah, let's just give that a go. Sad, sad, sad about Muslim Revolution. We are going to have to start overprotecting battlegrounds too, going into turn 10. So it's going to be tough. We really need central scoring to come out here, or to have like some control over a good scoring card for us. Alright, that's decent for us. AWOC sales to Saudis can go into... Maybe we just realign here now, actually. One, two, and... Alright. There we go. So they've got no access to South Africa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they can we can give them North Sea oil potentially here. OPEC's gone, and giving them the last AR. Yeah, like I don't know. You're rolling the dice. Do they have something that they want to try and hold and not play or not? I mean, it's a May, so it's pretty bad for us. But I think we might have to do it here. Iran-Iraq war, what are we doing? Ops, okay. We'll coup Colombia, since we need to get the mill ops anyway. Let's do that with Iranian hostage crisis. Yeah, I wonder what they have in hand here. It's intriguing. Coup with kitchen. Guatemala, okay. We'll coup you back. I think we'll try and event Willy late in the turn. Maybe space rearguards event Willy, if we can get away with it here. Although it seems they might have Central America scoring based on the plays. And I would kind of like to take South Africa here while we can. I mean, if we can hold the two Americas and flip Africa here, we've got a super strong chance of winning this game. Well, we dodged war games. That's something. We'll play North Sea oil, I think. I think that's important enough here. Yeah, they might have something super gas, but they also might have something they're hoping to hold. Yeah, so didn't get to Iranian, like if they played Iranian hostage crisis, that would have been better in some ways because we haven't seen terrorism yet. So getting the double terrorism turn 10 is one way we could really ice this game, I think. But getting a 4-up out of them that we got to do that is not too bad. Alright, that's annoying. So we'll just, I think, place with Willie and hope that that's enough. So they've got 2 ARs, hopefully not great cards. So they've had a pretty good hand so far. Not amazing, like a 1-up, but 2 4-ups and a Hunter and a lot of blue cards. So you'd think that hopefully some of the last cards will be red, but okay, not looking good. And then central scoring. Okay, so we gave them the out on central scoring, which is okay. Annoying, but okay. So we've got Soviets shoot down, which we need to be careful of. We didn't get to do that. We can headline Europe scoring, but I think I'd rather take back Poland first. Can we degrade DEFCON in the headline phase in a good way? Not really. I mean, we can use Soviets as an AR1 play if we don't want a coup, which actually is not too bad. It does give them 2 VPs. So maybe Marine barracks bombing is the way to go here as a headline. Get them out of Lebanon and Libya. The other option is to coup with Shay in the headline phase, or to Yuri and Samantha. I kind of like Shay in some ways because we have some other good relines. So let's go with that. Where are they going to choose? All right, well, let's just do this and try for Africa. And did they choose Europe? Yeah, okay. Well, it's not great for us. We'll do this first, I think. One. Ugh. Ugh. No red. Alright, let's just Europe scoring. Get that out of there. See what they do. It probably was right to still Soviets shoot down there, but we could die to Europe control here, to Chernobyl. Alright, they coup, which makes Soviet shoot down unplayable, so that's why Soviet shoot down there is a good play in some ways. Alright, so we lose. Yeah, that was a bit reactive. I shouldn't have Europe scorings there. Let's go defectors. Our hand sucks, unfortunately. Yeah, I think even with no rat, I could have just gone 3 into Mexico and 1 elsewhere, and that would have been better than panicking about Chernobyl. It's a tough one. We can jam with the China card AR7, but our plays aren't looking great before then. So we got here coup Cameroon. Okay, so at least we get to fill up. I get 3 VPs from Alliance for Progress, but I think that's worth it. No, it's not. We'll just place with Yuri and Samantha. I want to get Africa domination. We can coup again in Cameroon if we need to, but I don't think we want to this turn. We're gonna go not play those. Alright, event bear trap. We'll discard Soviets shoot down since it's unplayable. Success. So they're not going for the Europe control victory. That's good news. Ugh, such a good hand. So they got 6, so they're up to 7. So we've got to be a little careful. All right. So no good ray lines in Zaire at the moment. I think we'll just keep being aggressive here. Take out of Lebanon, take out of Libya. It gives us another VP. Not a supremely consequential one, but they don't have access back into Libya, so at least that's something. And then the fact that we've succeeded on space up till now has been good, but it's also kind of annoying now because we're not able to space for VPs. All right, terrorism in there is interesting. Kind of forcing us to play here. So I think we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we can actually take India with Alliance for Progress if they don't do anything about it. Yeah, it depends how good their AR7 play is. If it's like Voice of America, then we're just dead. Quagmire. Alright. So we just have to break India and go for it that way, I think. And East European unrest is probably the way to do it. Rather than Alliance for Progress. So we can go 1, 2. And then can we impact another region with 1 op? I don't think so. Let's just do that. Let's see what they've got. AR7. Oh, yes! Unbelievable. Oh, man, oh, man. What a game. Oh, man. Can you believe it? Oh, sorry, I just need a second. Whew. Michael, if you're still there, what do you reckon? Chifley says GG. That, I don't know how long you've been there, Chifley, watching this game, but that was a struggle. We were down, I think, 8 VPs coming out of the early war. And then our opponent asked knotted away South America scoring on turn 4 when we had control. Yeah, we were behind for almost all of that game, but we fought our way back. Oh, man. Well, I hope you enjoyed the game. Even though I've watched a bunch, I don't actually know how to play this game. Well, thanks for being here anyway, Chifley. It's always lovely to have your company. And thanks, Vance. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, everyone who stopped by in the live chat. And those of you on YouTube, I hope you enjoy the game. It's good to be 3-0 at the start of the tournament, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.